the red line, and Moscow should think about an asymmetric response, such as the deployment of its tactical nuclear weapons abroad. That said a senior Russian lawmaker whose name is Vladimir Gutenev. Putin is preparing the ground for tactical nuclear weapon in Syria. Now remember, if you really read Ezekiel's war, both 38 and 39, the description of that war is definitely there's a use of non-conventional weapon, and a tactical nuclear weapon is definitely something that can be used if you read Ezekiel and the aftermath of the war and the burial of the weapon and the burial of the bodies, on all of that. It's definitely speaking of that. So I'm just saying, for the first time ever, the US-Russian sanctioned ordeal is causing the Russians to threaten the US by putting a tactical nuclear weapon in Syria across the border from Israel. And you understand that if that tactical nuclear weapon will be directed towards us, Israel will have to retaliate and Damascus might be destroyed. That could be a reason for that. Another thing that is developing after Assad had completed the takeover of most of the Golan Heights on the Syrian side, as well as the surroundings of the south and Damascus, now they're moving to the last ditch of Idlib. Now, what he usually do is he drops either barrels of explosives, or he's using chlorine as a biological or chemical weapon. Now, you have to understand something. Ambassador John Bolton said while he was here that America is not going to sit and allow Assad to use chemical weapon again. And chlorine is a chemical weapon. You have to understand, it's not only sarin gas, chlorine is as deadly. But also you need to understand that, look what the Russians just said. And if you understand Russian propaganda, you know why they said that. The Russians just said that they are, elements in the Russian Ministry of Defense said that some elements in Syria are planning on a chemical attack in the country in order to criminalize President Assad as the one who did it. And they also want such a provocative thing to cause America and other allies to have a reason to hit Syria once again. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to see probably round 2 or round 3 when it comes to hitting Syria from outside, because everybody is bracing for the last ditch of the rebels, and that's Idlib. And everybody knows the way Assad does things is first cause major chaos and massacre, then they will give up, and then you come in and clean it up. That's what he did in so many other places, such as Aleppo, such as the south in Dara, such as the suburbs of Damascus, and that's what he's probably going to do again. And that's very, very sad to see that. Also, I want you to know that we are fully coordinated with the Americans on that issue, and we're going to see what's going to happen. We also noticed that the relations between Erdogan and President Trump aren't great right now. In fact, the Americans are thinking to take away from Turkey because Turkey is part of the group of countries that are actually helping manufacturing the F-35. I don't know that if you know that, but the F-35 is not fully manufactured in America. And in Turkey, they make the engines. We are getting already signs that America is thinking about moving the production of the engines to Israel, and of course the delivery of the F-35 to the hands of the Turkish Air Force was postponed, and they don't have any more access to their F-35s. So it's very, very interesting how tension is rising. And all of that, why? Because Erdogan is a prideful and very arrogant person who wants to show himself as the deliverer of the Muslim world, Sunni Muslim world. And one of the reasons, by the way, the Palestinians will never agree to any proposal of Trump is because Qatar and Iran and Turkey are pulling the strings behind the scenes, and they will never allow the Palestinians to agree to anything coming from America. So you need to understand that there's a lot of elements within the area that will not let any of the peace deal that Trump will ever propose to be accepted. And in the meantime, Israel is blooming. Israel is economy is blooming, and not only Israel's. The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq just broke records, all-time records yesterday. President Trump's policy is proved to be amazing. The lowest unemployment ever, and the stock market is rallying in an amazing way. And no wonder why President Trump said that if they're going to impeach me,